Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 431. It is Thursday. Here in Cincinnati, we have a cool summer day with a little bit of rain happening. It is absolutely gorgeous here in the Midwest. There is a lot flowing, as always. Don't I feel like I start almost every episode that way, like, wow, there's a lot going on this planet, and also there's so much happening inside of me. So I trust that if you feel called to this space and this energy that I'm going to be sharing and transmitting with you today, it's because we have some matches, and some of the experiences and the descriptions and the words and the synchronicities that I will share are going to be exactly perfect for where you are. And I feel like in our human journey, knowing we're not doing it by ourselves, knowing that there are others who are having similar experiences and emotions brings a sense of connection, a sense of, no loneliness. It's the opposite. It's not harmony, because we're all so very different, but it's just a sense of belonging. That's the word I want. It's like we do belong here, and we do have value, and we matter, and our existence here is important and significant. And so I feel like when we can touch other people's journeys with that sense of, I'm so glad you're here, I'm so glad I'm here, and we're going to keep doing this together no matter how crazy or difficult or challenging it gets. I think that gives us the strength to keep going when things feel a little overwhelming. So I'm showing up here to say, I belong, you belong, we all belong in this human journey. That's why we chose to be here. And let's explore it together for a little bit of time today and see what comes up for each one of us. So I've changed the title several times this morning, and the one that I landed on right at the end of my meditation, I don't know that it has a very easily explainable translation, but I'm going to do my best, and then we'll see how it resonates for you. So the title for today is called Walking in a Portal, and a portal is defined in the dictionary by Google, my dictionary. It's defined as a doorway or an entrance, or like in a website, a website's gateway, the way in which you enter into that space. Often in the descriptions in the dictionary, it's connected to churches or historical buildings, significant ornate portals that you step into, and then you're in a different space than you were before. Energetically, spiritually, consciously, portals are used, time travel portals are used to describe thresholds, the transition between one dimension and another dimension, the place where you can access moving through a time shift, moving through from one timeline to another, from one consciousness level to another. The portal is the hump or the pathway or the thing that you use to get you from one place to another place. And so I've always in my head felt it as a brief little experience. A portal is like you step through it and then you're in a different reality or a different understanding. And what I was getting today is, right now we're in a portal, or I am at least, that feels like it's being stretched out. So you're not actually walking through it. You're walking in the portal. Like you're not through the space yet. You're not through the experience yet. And yet, let me try to explain it differently. Perhaps it's because I've called this the summer of manifestation to myself, and then in my work I've claim that this summer is going to be a time where I am absolutely expanding the capacity of the work that I do and the business and the structures and the processes that I'm going to put in place. And so I'm manifesting a lot of changes, a lot of streamlining, efficiency, more abundance, more clients, more like there's this intention that I have for the whole summer. And so while I'm in the summer, this summer is the portal. This 3-month time, maybe 4 or 5 months, is the portal. Now I take that back, 3 months. It's going to be 3 months. It's going to be June, July, and August. It's a 3-month portal. Not longer, not shorter, 3 months. Oh, that's so funny. Watch your words. They are very, very powerful. I'm like, why did I just try stretch the portal out to 5 months? No, 3 months. But if you feel what I'm sharing, that means that's 3 months of being in this gap or void or indefinable space where old structures are being dismantled and new ones are being put in place. There's this like container that's not just a door. It's not like I go to the door, I knock, I say, okay, summer of manifestation, open the door, thank you, one day, one moment, 1 hour, we step through and we're in a new space. It's like this stretched out period of time where everything is going through a transformation. And I believe pregnancies are like that. Pregnancies are portals. 9 months of you're not what you were before and you're not what you're going to be next, but you're in this like beautiful experience of alchemizing so much physically, emotionally, spiritually. You're in this, container, this portal. For some people, it's the preparation for a wedding. You aren't married yet, but you're going to be married. And so that preparation time can feel like this elongated portal experience. And often when we're in moments or times like that, we're aware that we're in a portal. I don't know if we would all use those words. Those are just the words I'm using. We're aware that we're in a time of massive transformation and that a lot is rapidly shifting inside of ourselves. And yet we can't always, it's like in that time, you can't quite clearly describe how you're placing each step or where the steps are actually taking you. You can feel that something is shifting, but you can't quite, there aren't words always to describe what it feels like as you're moving through that transformation process. And again, these are the words I'm choosing. You may have totally different words, but I think you can feel what I'm describing. And so when I had the title this morning of walking, at first the first one I was going to do was moving the needle. My husband for, I don't even know, a month now has been talking about moving the needle on this initiative that he's doing at his work. And it's a big initiative with a lot of different stakeholders and pieces and elements that all have to be shifted. And his whole driving energy is, I want to keep moving the needle. I want to keep making progress. I want things to keep adjusting and shifting and not stay what they have been. But am I moving the needle in the direction that I want to go, that I really desire as the outcome? So this morning I was like, I even asked him, I'm like, can I use moving the needle? Like, would that be okay? Can I use that as a title? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So then I sat with that in meditation. I'm like, no, that's not quite, moving the needle isn't quite right. So then I saw the image of the card that I just pulled on Sunday's meditation, the World card. And it shows this woman, this figure of a woman stepping through what looks like a big hula hoop, like a portal, a shape. And she's stepping through it. And all around her is sacred geometry. Underneath her is the actual earth world. The card is a description of how we come to these times of completion and we're stepping through into something new. And so celebrate that. The world is the 21 card in the major arcana. And so it's the completion of the major arcana experience. And so I was like, that's what I'll call the title today. It'll be portal walking. How we're walking through portals. And I was like, no, there's only one portal right now. There's only one portal. So then I was like, oh, how do I even describe this? So here's my attempt to describe this, and we'll see what it brings up for you. I feel like on our planet there are billions of individual souls having human experiences, each with their own set of intentions, desires, creative potentials, gifts to share, shit that they're carrying, relationship drama, financial stress. Like every soul here is bringing their own stuff that we're going to work through and experience while we're in the human form. Yes, there's Gaia holding all 8 billion, but we each have our own agendas or desires or intentions. And so at any one moment in this planet, you can tune in on the news, on social media, YouTube, wherever. You can tune in and be bombarded with just a fraction of those 8 billion people who all have experiences that they're sharing, because we live in this world that has technology as a tool. It's how you're watching me. We are all wired together, and so we get to share what our experiences are. And so many of us will be going through portals all at the same time, but every portal is different. Each one of us has a different shape, design, geometric pattern, story that we are experiencing as we're moving through our evolution. And sometimes we're resting, we're not doing any portal walking. Sometimes we are just being, or sometimes we're running, we're hopping from one portal perhaps to the next. So there's this sense of, if at any one moment all of these experiences are happening, but we're only aware of ours, how do we find that sense of connection or belonging? It's very easy, for example, to go into someone else's portal that they're experiencing when they're sharing it publicly. For example, Johnny Depp, right? Like it's easy to just immerse ourselves into this very public experience that is playing out. And we do this in TV shows. We go into other people's portals and storylines, and we dive in there with them, and then it's like we're consuming and adding energy to their portal, and collectively all creating a bigger experience, because so many of us have our attention on that one timeline, one storyline. But then we come back and we have our own reality to keep creating and living. I just think of all the major headlines and cases and stories. O.J. Simpson, just big storylines where everyone dives in. I know that was a long time ago. Everyone dives in and we're all talking about it, and then it's suddenly over. COVID is a great example. We're all in it, and then we're all suddenly back in our individual realities, shaped, perhaps impacted by what that collective focus was that we all had, but now back as the individual soul, walking our journey, trying to figure out what it is we're here to do and experience next. And I think often, when we've had those collective experiences and then we come back into our own, we're like, what is the point? What am I actually doing? What is my journey about when I pull myself out of someone else's portal that I was just sitting in? What does it feel like? And it's not even portal, their journey, their life. Social media allows us to go all the way into someone's life and get all the dirty details and voyeuristically watch everything, and then we come back into ours and we're like, whoa, what's my reality after watching all of that? Sometimes I think we need to take a shower because it's been so much. But then we're back in our reality and we're like, what is the point? What am I here to do? What is my experience? Sometimes those collective experiences activate the next level of our individual, and sometimes I think they spin us out for a while, and it's hard for us to come back and claim what it is that we actually want to be doing in our individual journey here. And so I feel like this message, as I'm deciphering it in the moment with you, as I'm feeling into it here with you, it feels like the message is, it's powerful. It's really powerful to be in our own creative space, to be in our own human journey fully and set intentions, create and claim bigger manifestations or dreams and align with those, and then laser focus on that and walk in alignment and intention with whatever that thing was that we claimed. When that happens, as I'm describing here for my summer of manifestation, shit comes up. Our own stuff, our own fears, our own blocks that have nothing to do with the collective, that have nothing to do with Johnny Depp or O.J. Simpson or anybody else. They're ours. And I'm not comparing those two. Those were just names that popped in quickly that really garnered a lot of public collective focus. When we are in our own pathway, journey, defining, trying to create something in our lives that has meaning to us, and we're walking step by step through the processes of those things happening. We're getting married, we're starting a new relationship, we're changing our health, changing our job, buying or building a new home, moving to a new city, whatever the thing is that's got us like rumbling inside, because we know we're expanding, we're transforming, we're evolving into something more than we were before. When we're in that and we're listening and we're paying attention to that inner compass, that inner guidance system, it can be really isolating. It can feel like, does anybody understand that I'm going through all this? Does anybody have any awareness that I've made this massive statement to myself or to the universe and all my shit's coming up? Like, it can feel terrifying. It can feel really isolating. And so what often happens is we turn back to some collective experience, or we get so overwhelmed that we get paralyzed, or we just pull the cover back over our heads and we're like, no, I'm not going to do it. And so that walking in the portal, because it's not just a day, it's not just a few weeks, it could be months, it could be a year. When we're walking in the portal, that feeling of, I'm doing it all by myself and I don't know if I'm doing it right, and what if I fuck it up, and blah, 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 right? Like all these things. It can really, like, oh, I just swore, sorry, but that's how it feels. It can feel like, why am I doing this? Is it worth doing this? Should I stop? Should I just go back to what was comfortable? Why don't I just give up? These are all very real thoughts, and it's easier, right? This is the main one I always get. Why are you doing this to yourself? It's easier to just be who you were. Don't change. Don't evolve again. Don't push yourself further. Like, life's really good. I mean, last week's episode, living the 9 of Cups. I am living a really sweet, beautiful life. Why push the edges? Why create or expand into more? Just stay where it's good. And yet there's that like, but I need to. I know I need to. I want to. I have this desire, and I believe that things can be even better than what they are, which sounds selfish or self-centered or crazy to some people. But to me, I'm like, I just know this reality gets better and better and better. And so I want to play like that. I want to expand like that. I want to inspire other people to be doing that. I want to be supporting other people in doing that. Like this is like why I'm here. It's not to always be the same and stay who I was. And yet when we're walking in the portal, all of this is happening. All of these thoughts, all of these feelings. And so this video is for you. If you are walking in a portal that you don't even know why you're in the portal. Why did you do this? And yet, you don't want to go back. You don't want to be who you used to be. You have no idea who you're becoming. You're just in the portal and you don't even know if the portal's ever going to end. This video is for you to go, I know, I know, I'm right here with you. I hear you, I see you, I feel it. I'm in it. And also, isn't it like exhilarating to be alive in this way, to feel the range, the capacity of emotions, to feel energy and vitality and life force like bubbling through you? I'll have to share, I don't think it's on my Instagram anymore. I'll have to share the world card picture. You can go to, actually, you can go to Light Seers Tarot, Light Seers Tarot, I believe it's .com by Chris Ann. And if you look up Major Arcana and then look up the World, number 21, the World card, Chris Ann has like a whole web page where she shows the image of the card. She has all of her definitions about it. All the information is on there. So that would be my homework assignment to you. My suggestion is go to the website and look at the World card and see what it brings up inside of you. What I love about that card is that the figure, the illustration of this woman, she is standing like, she's got her arms spread wide. Her head is like looking up at source at the light. She's not even looking at where she's stepping. And she is walking through this big portal of energy with all of the sacred geometry behind her. And she looks happy, excited, free. Like she's delighting in her experience. And I don't think, for me, it doesn't feel like that when I'm going through transformation. It's not like, yay, every moment is fantastic. There are definitely moments of that. And then there's also those moments where the structural work that it takes to tear down an old belief or an old system and rebuild a new one, that has some contraction, expansion. So here's like a practical example. So in my summer of manifestation, one of the things that I am intending to do is this, I'm calling it a sonic boom, this like sonic boom energy moving through my podcast and expanding the reverberations, the energy ripples from Gaia's love into all these new places where it hasn't been before, so that this vibration, this frequency that I share each week can, right? It can ripple out and support those who are feeling like they're doing it by themselves, or bump into those who are getting a little stagnant or need a little extra boost of love and support. The ripples from Gaia's love can move and expand like a sonic boom would, like, right? Well, to do that, there's some structural things that have to happen. And so I've hired this company. It's called On Podium. Totally love the guy who is running it. On Podium is setting up websites that have all the structure that I need. So I have my own website, and this does all these extra pieces for me that are going to be so much simpler than me trying to navigate and figure out the HTML and get all the apps synchronized. So I'm gladly handing it over to this beautiful person who's going to help me send out the sonic boom ripples. Well, in order to do that, there are pieces of information that he needs. There are links. There are things that need to happen. When he asked for my Google Analytics number, I was like, oh, yeah. That Google Analytics thing that I've been talking about doing for a while. Shit. So I spent yesterday with my head like pounding, looking at the computer, trying to understand Google Analytics. And I'm like, this is not my thing. This is not my jam at all. And so I'm going to have to outsource this. And so here's this one piece that's going. Now there's going to be this other piece that's going. And so walking in a portal, like I'm describing for this summer, it's like you take a step and you think it's going to be like a solid piece of ground, and your foot sinks all the way down into like mud and mush. And then it's like stuck. You're trying to like pull your leg out of the mud, but then you realize your other leg is like exhausted from all this pulling on the one leg. And so you're like a flamingo trying to like get your balance back. That's walking in a portal. It's like, You don't know what the ground is going to be like. You don't know what your next step is going to be, but you know you're not going backwards. You know you're not going to turn around and go back to the entrance. You're going to keep going forward, but it's sometimes very wobbly. It feels it feels like an adventure. I mean, I love that I'm being challenged. I love that I am having to look at things that I know needed to be looked at. I love knowing that all of these pieces that I'm going to put in place are supporting the sonic boom rippling out to all different corners of the world. Like, that delights me. And so I'm willing to lose my footing for a little while and sink into the mud and then stabilize and stop the activity for a few minutes or days or weeks and get myself centered again, and then clarify, like, okay, next step, and I'm going to put my foot down, and this time it's on solid ground. Okay, we're making some progress. This is moving the needle. I am moving the needle. My husband is moving the needle. There are activists around our world, spiritual guides and leaders, creators, thought leaders, scientists, philosophers, musicians who are moving the needle in the most beautiful, incredible ways for humanity, who are expanding the capacity of what is possible here on this planet. Magic is happening all around us. And so the needle is moving. But when we're in each day of it, when we're in the portal trying to figure out if the needle is moving, it might feel like the needle is doing this. You know, in time travel shows where the plane, often it's a plane, the plane has the little speedometer thingy, and it just goes, and it's like, what happened? And you realize the plane like flew through some time portal, so all the instruments stopped working. That's what it feels like when we're in our human journey and we know we are transforming, transmuting, expanding, creating something that hasn't been created before. It feels all out of whack. It feels all off balance, and yet there still is that excitement, that fire inside of us that's like, don't stop now. And maybe you're watching this video just to hear that. Don't stop now. Don't go backwards. Like, keep going forwards. Because who you are becoming is why you came here. Who you are evolving into is why you came here. You didn't come here to be what you've been. That was phase 1 or 5 or 50. Now you're moving to phase 100 or 300 or 2000. So you don't want to go back to that. You want to go into whatever that next version of yourself is. So stand yourself back up, shake all the dust off of your legs, maybe give yourself a whole energetic rinse, spray yourself off with a hose, like clear off all the mud, and then recenter and, right, do your practice. Take a moment to breathe, laugh a little. Like, this whole thing is just such a cosmic joke. If you can, I've talked about this before, but if you can remember in Horton Hears a Who, I talked about this just a couple weeks ago. So this whole world is on this tiny little dandelion, right? Isn't that what the flower is? But there's a little stalk and then this little flower, and Horton is the elephant trying to hold it to his ear so he can hear what they're all saying. But inside that dandelion, it's a whole world. It's like all these people and homes and cars and activity. Well, I don't know if they had cars. I don't remember. All this activity is happening and they're trying to save the world. But the whole time, Horton's just holding a little dandelion in his hand up to his ear and he's trying to save them. I feel like that's our reality. We believe, because it feels so structured, concrete, real, I can put my hands on the chair and the microphone and touch my body, and like, this is real, and there isn't anything outside of planet Earth that exists. I don't know, maybe you don't believe that, or maybe you do, I don't know. But it's like there is no other reality. This earth is the only reality. But I feel like the cosmic joke is at some point when we transition or when we go back to being the infinite soul, not this human right now, we're going to be outside of Earth looking at this planet and it's going to look this big. And the universe is going to look this big. And we're going to be loved and held by God, Source, angels, the universe, all other souls. And we're going to be looking at the planet going, wow, why was I so stressed about that portal I walked through? Why was I ever doubting my abilities to be the most magnificent creature on this planet? What was I thinking while I was down on Earth? Because here's Earth and here's everything else. But we're here right now in this planet and it looks enormous. And the number of people looks overwhelming. The potential of good, bad, crazy, happy, sad, all of it looks overwhelming. And so our perspective, I believe, morphs or shifts. And then we lose touch perhaps with the bigger picture, the bigger understanding, or the bigger why. And so it shrinks our awareness, it shrinks our potential within ourselves. It limits what we believe to be creatable, possible. And so we come in and get smaller and just do what we're meant to do in this moment or supposed to do to follow the rules, and everything gets a little tighter. Until you somehow end up watching this video where I'm like, oh my gosh, the universe, it's so big. And we're just this little planet and you're in a portal. You're in a portal. So how about walking in the portal with awareness that you're doing so, and then knowing you're not doing it by yourself and having a little fun along the way and laughing at ourselves and breathing together, right? Slowing down the pace and the intensity of it a little bit so that we can come to conscious awareness that we're in the portal, whatever the portal is for each one of us. And it's ours, and we chose this time of transformation, and we chose this specific portal that we are in. And so if we're in it and we're walking in it, how do we support each other as we do that? How do we have a little more fun as we do that? Let's not take it quite as seriously as our minds and the collective consciousness would tell us we should, because it looks so real and intense and overwhelming. Breathe a little space around yourself. Go to the website and look at Chris Ann's image of the world and make it your screensaver, or put it into some sort of vision board or sketch that you can add your own energy to it, and then make it your screensaver on your phone. Right now I have the star from the Lights Ears Tarot as my screensaver for the summer, because it shows this woman grounded on the earth. You can look that one up when you're on her website. 17 is the star. She's sitting firmly planted on planet Earth, and she's got this little string, and it's connected to this like cosmic blast, the sonic boom, this like cosmic blast of energy in the universe. And she's just manifesting all of that down here into her reality. So that's my screensaver. Like, yeah, that's what I'm doing this summer. That is the portal I'm in. I am consciously here manifesting magic that is coming down and into my reality. I'm very aware that that's what I'm in. And so I share this experience with you to say, if you're in it too, it's okay to have moments of confusion and doubt. Breathe through it, come hang out with me. Let's share some of these stories and not make it so overwhelming and intense, and be in it together. So if you want some inspiration, the Sunday meditation from last weekend was amazing. The World card was the intention grid. It was It was so good. I listened to it on Monday as a receiver of the energy, not as the conduit of the energy in the bathtub. And I was telling my friends last night, I just kept like zonking out because there was so much energy that was clearing. It was such a good frequency. And so that's available if you need support. I'll put the link to that in the description, but it's Being with Viv from June. It's $11. It's better than, I don't know, any cup of coffee or lunch. Skip your lunch and have a meditation instead. How about that? uh, and then the other space is the gym, my energy gym. Like if you want to walk in a portal together, that is the place to do it. And we have a women's gym that meets every Friday at 11:30 Eastern, and we have a men's gym that meets every other Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Not this Friday, next Friday. So if you are looking for that community that's going to be in this with you and support you being the individual having the individual experience, not needing to be like everybody else, not needing to go into everyone else's experience, you in yours, but doing it together, my energy gym is a great space for you to do that. It is high vibing, big loving, laughter inducing magic. So you can learn more about that on my website. I'll have the description to that also in today's podcast. Yeah, I think that's what I got for right now. Got a full day in front of me. Oh, we're going to see Top Gun tonight. This is very exciting. Talking about portals. I just want to say, Top Gun, let me just be a very funny teenager in a very grown-up body moment. I remember when Top Gun came out and I was in high school, Tom Cruise was like fine. Back then we were all like adoring what the roles he was playing and the way he was carrying himself and that little grin that he did. And so Top Gun was one of my favorite movies because it was just so different. There was no other movie like that. And the whole like love story and pain and suffering, I mean, it was just so good. Well, now there's Top Gun 2, and I know there's been a lot of drama in how he's created it and a lot of press about COVID and all this stuff. And we get to go see it tonight, and I'm so excited. My son saw it last week. He's like, Mom, I didn't even see Top Gun 1. Not that that's what it's called. But he's like, I didn't even see the first one, and the second one was amazing. So I'm ready to go have a little fun tonight and let some steam blow off in the wind as we watch Top Gun. Oh, it's going to be fun. Yeah, and then this weekend is just a lot of friend and adventure and family time. So I hope you have a beautiful weekend. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you next week. Let me know how it feels and what your portal is like. I actually read the comments. So if you want to engage that way, I'm thrilled to hear what's happening for you. And then I will see you back here next week. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me on Facebook or Instagram in a community I call the Gaia Tribe Reunion, where we show up together to share our soul's gifts, what we came here to Gaia to contribute to humanity. You can learn more at viviennegerard.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.